Marshall City Council meeting for Monday, April 5th, 2021. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mayor Karen,
Here, Marshall, Michigan.
Councilmember Gates, Councilmember Rice,
Here, Marshall.
Councilmember Schwartz, you're muted, Jim.
His lips moved.
That's not working. I can see you're in Marshall though. Councilmember Traver,
Here, Marshall.
Councilmember Underhill,
Here, Marshall.
and Councilmember Wolfersberger.
Here, Marshall.
We have a quorum, Your Honor.
Thank you. We will start this meeting this evening with an invocation from Nick Walker of Family Bible Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Well, thank you for having me with you this evening. Let's go ahead and pray. Father, thank you so much for this opportunity that we have to gather together to meet as members of this city, leaders of this city. Lord, I pray that you would make it clear to us, give us wisdom in how best to lead, to direct this city. As we celebrated Easter yesterday, we celebrated your resurrection. We thank you for the new life that we can have in you. So Lord, I pray that Marshall, that this place would be a place of life, of energy, of excitement, that people would be drawn to this place. Give these men and women wisdom as they lead and be in their decisions this evening as they meet together. It's in your wonderful name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Nick. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we will start the meeting this evening with the approval of agenda, starting with public comment on agenda items, followed by the consent agenda. Item 10A, we have the public hearing for the CBDG grant application for Schuler's Restaurant. Item 10B, we have the adjustment of power supply cost adjustment. Under reports and recommendations, 12A, we have the electric deficit elimination plan. 12B, we have the street improvement phase 2. Then followed by public comment on non-agenda items and council and manager communications. At this time, I would like to remove item 10B, adjustment of power supply cost adjustment. Under public hearings and item 12A, electric deficit elimination plan under reports and recommendations, as it coincides with the public hearing. We had intended to do this meeting in person, but due to the COVID numbers in our community and outreach from concerned citizens, I'd like to reschedule this public hearing to a special meeting on Monday, April 12th at 7 p.m. so that everyone that would like to participate will have the opportunity to do so. The link to the meeting will be posted on the city's website, Facebook page, and also in the Advisor and Chronicle. Any additional comments, questions, or adjustments to the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second, Rice.
We have a motion from member Wolfersberger, support by member Rice. We'll do a roll call vote, please.
Member Rice,
Yes.
Member Schwartz, no sound, but yes. Member
Yes,
Traver,
you can hear me.
yeah, thank you. Member Traver,
Yes.
Member Underhill,
Yes.
Member Wolfersberger,
Yes.
and Mayor Karen.
Yes,
Motion carried.
thank you. That moves us to public comment on agenda items. Anyone wishing to address the council may do so for a maximum of 5 minutes, speaking their name and address for the record. Please raise your hand in Zoom in order to be called on, and you will be admitted to speak. Looks like we'll start with John Anthony LaPietra.
Thank you. It's been 20 years now, I think, since I was first on Council's Future Energy Needs Committee. Even back then, one of the concerns I had was what was then called negawatts, worrying about reducing use, not even just making it more efficient, but reducing use. And one thing that we could have done then, we still haven't done yet, is to make our electric rate structure progressive, so that instead of charging less for the bigger users, we charge more to the bigger users because they drive more of the demand for additional contracts and capital investments. As council is now considering electric rates in a couple of different ways, I would strongly encourage the city to take a pause and make sure that it is giving due consideration to progressive conservation and use reduction encouraging rates. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Any additional comments on agenda items at this time? I'm assuming this is Ron Goodwin. Please go ahead if you're connected.
Hi, Joe. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Good. I just wanted to say hi to all you people. And I see you're not going to have the meeting now on the rate, so I'll wait till the 12th.
All right, thank you, Ron.
But take care, everyone. Good luck.
All right, any additional comments on agenda items at this time? All right, seeing no hands raised, we will move on to the consent agenda. Item 7A, we have the MDOT Bridge Program application for the South Marshall Avenue Bridge over Rice Creek. Item 7B, we have to schedule a public hearing, amendment to Chapter 70.17, Animal Drawn Vehicles. Item 7C, we have the City Council minutes from the regular session on Monday, March 15th, 2021, and the amended minutes from the special session on Monday, March 22nd, 2021. Item 7D, we have the city bills totaling $715,793.44. Any questions or comments on the consent agenda as amended?
I just had one question on the animal drawn vehicles. I'm assuming those provisions for different hoofing materials was to reduce wear on the roads. And so I'm just curious if that is a concern that we should have, that this will cause, especially with having, you know, brand new road downtown. Are we looking at causing ourselves undue wear? But I don't see Director McDonald on tonight, so we may not have a question or an answer for that question.
I don't believe he's on right at the moment. I know that he has spoken with Dennis McKean, who operates the local carriage company, and could probably answer this question for us this week, along with, you know, any more.
Tom just went to find Scott.
Okay, thank you.
I apologize. I should have looked to see if he was on, because I knew he'd be the one to answer it. But and I definitely understand the animal welfare, and I'm not, you know, I'm not trying to say that we shouldn't do this. I'm just, you know, wondering what the consequences are.
They were asking a question about the horseshoes. So you're unmuted.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, Scott, I didn't mean to pull you away from anything. I'm just curious with the changing of the hoofing materials. I'm assuming that was originally in the statute so that as a reduced wear on the roads. And I'm curious if there's consequences for the roads for making this change.
Yeah, when we originally looked at these ordinances, we plagiarized from places like Frankenmuth, Charleston, South Carolina, Mackinac Island that have quite a significant amount of horse traffic.
Mhm.
And I guess it was just not digging deep enough on our part, but they do have obviously consequences based on the volume there. When we looked at ours, he does this couple, 2-3 times a week. I spoke to Marguerite, and when we kind of looked at it, we don't think there's going to be any significant road damage here. Now, if this becomes a trendy thing, or he does it weekly or daily, or we get a couple competitors, we'll probably want to revisit it. But at this point, I don't see it being a concern.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Yes, sir. And Scott, he is going to come to the hearing, and he'll have a lot more information. He's bringing a gentleman that shoes his horses and helps with him from MSU up at the, I want to call it horse farm. I know that's probably kind of a, not the correct word for it, but anyway, an expert matter he'll bring down to go over some of this stuff with us.
Awesome, it'll be great to meet him.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments on the consent agenda? Hearing none, I'd seek a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended.
So moved. Support.
We have a motion from member Underhill, support from member Traver. We'll do a roll call vote, please.
Member Schwartz, member Traver,
Yes.
member Underhill,
Yes.
member Wolfersberger,
Yes.
Mayor Karen,
Yes.
and member Rice.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. That moves us to item 10A on the public hearings for the CBDG grant application for Schuler's Restaurant. Before we move into this, I'd like to seek a motion to recuse myself as the subject matter to this public hearing involves my employer.
So move. Support.
We have a motion from member Traver, support from member Underhill. We'll do a roll call vote, please.
Member Wolfersberger,
Yes.
member Rice,
Yes.
member Schwartz,
Yes.
member Traver,
Yes.
and member Underhill.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, member Traver. If you can move forward with the public hearing.
Sure thing. Before we open the public hearing, Tom, do you have any background information that you'd like to share?
I'd like to turn it right over to Eric. He's been working on this project with Schuler's and CDBG.
Evening, council. As we've talked about this multiple times over the past several months, this is the final step in our application for $420,000 in CDBG funds, which will help fund the rehabilitation of the second floor at Schuler's into 7 apartments. We've been working closely with Schuler's MEDC staff to move this project forward. We're in the, for the lack of a better word, documentation phase, environmental review and things like that. Part of moving forward is your approval of this resolution that's included in your packet that would authorize the application, but also appoint Tom, City Manager Tarkowitz, as the certifying officer for this project. That's specifically being done in this case because of Mayor Karen's employment at Schuler's. We wanted to remove any sense of impropriety. So that's something MEDC has signed off on. A lot of times they like the mayor, the chief elected officer, but you have the ability to make it anybody. Makes a lot of sense to have the city manager serve in that role in this case. I'm happy to answer any questions. I know Sue Dameron from Schuler's is on as well, and I'm sure she'd be willing to answer any questions that anyone may have.
Thank you, Eric. Sue, would you like to make any comments before we open public hearing?
I don't think so, but I just want to say thank you and I appreciate everyone's support in helping us do this development. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Sue. And at this time, I'd like to open a public hearing and see if we have any comments from public before taking any questions from council. So if we could open the public hearing. Anybody who would like to address the council, please give your name and address for the record. And you can have a maximum of up to 5 minutes to speak. Do we have anybody?
Not yet.
Eric, are you seeing anyone?
Not yet, sir.
Last call. Okay, I will close the public hearing. And council members, do you have any questions for Sue, Eric, or Tom? All right, not hearing any. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the CDBG grant application for Schuler's Restaurant.
Support.
Motion by Wolfersberger, support by Underhill. Any further comments or questions? Hearing none. Could I get a roll call, Tricia?
Member Underhill,
Yes.
member Wolfersberger,
Yes.
member Rice,
Yes.
member Schwartz,
Yes.
member Traver.
Yes,
Motion carried.
thank you. I'll hand it back over to Joe.
Thank you, Ryan.
You're welcome.
That moves us to item 12B on the agenda, reports and recommendations for the 2021 street improvements, phase number 2. I believe Marguerite's going to brief us on this one.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry about my video there. Not working. I'll continue. We are continuing to work on the street projects for this year, and this is the second project that will be bid this year. And we are bringing a proposal to you from Rowe Professional Engineering Services to do the design and engineering for a section of town approximately 1.2 miles near the fairgrounds. And we are proposing this area to be rehabbed in a way that's called crush and shape. So it's different from the other project we approved last month in a sense that the material doesn't get completely milled off. It gets milled and ground up, but then the existing material is used to provide extra base for the road. And then a top layer is brought in and paved over top of that. These roads are really good candidates for this type of work because they are what we would call unimproved. They do not have curb and gutter. There's limited sidewalk. And so this is the right type of work for this. And some of these roads are actually not even up to width standards. So some of them will be, the width will be increased. And we will work on some of the drainage challenges in this area as much as we can with ditches and grading the road so that it flows properly. We're bringing this to you tonight because the proposal is for the amount of $26,700. And that amount is over our purchase threshold of is under the amount of our purchase threshold of $27,500, which would require us to have it bid out. However, this amount would also require us to obtain 3 informal quotes. But because this is engineering services, we are allowed to forego that step. And so we are asking for your approval of that tonight. Rowe has worked with the city on the Monroe Street Bridge. They did the engineering and construction engineering services. They do our annual bridge inspections for the last 2 years at least. And they've done some work on the Marshall Avenue bridge repairs, including the application for the grant, which was approved tonight in the consent agenda. So we're confident that they can do the work appropriately, and we'd like to get this going so that we can bid it in July and have construction start after the week of fair and complete by the time that asphalt plants close, typically in the beginning of November. I will take any questions at this time.
Marguerite, this is Jim. Why are we not going to go for bids?
Originally, we were going to do this design work in-house, was originally the plan. And then over winter, we really got to looking at the type of work it would be and decided that the crush and shape is the best method. The crush and shape work requires a lot more detailed plans than mill and pave. And with the start of the existing contracts that the engineering department is working on, we just don't have the capacity to get it done. And so then at that time, when we realized that, we were just up against some time crunch as far as getting it bid out and getting the work started so that we can still do construction this year.
How long would it take to get the bids?
We'd have to write an RFP. It would take probably 4 weeks.
Thank you.
Any additional comments for questions from council members for Marguerite? All right, hearing none, the recommendation is that the council approve the Rowe Professional Services proposal in the amount of $26,700.
So move.
Support.
We have a motion from member Traver. And I'm sorry, I didn't see who the support was from.
Just for me.
From member Wolfersberger. We'll do a roll call vote, please.
Member Rice,
Yes.
Member Schwartz,
No.
Member Traver,
Yes.
Member Underhill,
Yes.
Member Wolfersberger,
Yes.
and Mayor Karen.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. That moves us down to public comment on non-agenda items. Anyone wishing to address the council may do so for a maximum of 5 minutes, stating their name and address for the record. Please indicate that you'd like to speak by raising the hand feature on Zoom. Again, any public comment on non-agenda items, this is the time to speak. Please indicate by raising your hand. All right, Nick, please go ahead.
Hi, Nick Metzger, 323 Division. This is a question related to that video, Tom, with you and Eric. You're talking about the rates in 2014. Or 2017, we had a study, right? And you talked about 3% at that point. But if that were the case, wouldn't it only be 9% increase on rates, not 18?
Sure, I'll go ahead and take that. We had hired John.
No. Oops.
We had hired John Courtney in 2017. Typically, inflationary rates are 3%, so probably the first year would have been a 9% rate increase. John had mentioned at the last meeting that typically they always look at 3-year periods. So it would have probably been the first year would have been at least 9. And then if we did for 3 years, it could have been 3 additional years. So if you did it over 7 years, 3%, just straight math without compounding, that would be about 21%. With compounding would be 23 to 25%. But again, with the optimisticness of the low growth from the new industry, we thought we would keep up with the inflationary, and we did not. So the probable would have been 2017 would have been about a 9% increase.
Are we out of optimism, by the way?
At least for the next 2 years, we have no choice but to, with the deficit elimination plan, we've got to make that up here by June 30th of 23. We're not sure what the growth may occur in the next 2 years with the different growth facilities, but right now we have to present to the state of Michigan, let's call it a non-optimistic growth projection. They will not allow any growth projections to be in the plan. Hopefully that answers your question, Nick.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Any additional questions or comments on non-agenda items at this point? Just please raise your hand. All right, seeing no hands raised, we will move on to council and manager communications. We'll start with Member Rice.
Nothing at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Schwartz. Thank you. Member Underhill.
I posted about today on Facebook, but I forgot about the whole trash situation today. So using my trash on Monday. Today, Monday, is going to be the northeast section of town. Tomorrow, Tuesday, northwest section, and then Thursday is the south section of Marshall. So if everyone knows that going forward, so I don't put my trash out on a Monday. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Member Traver.
Just a request. Nick brought up the video from Tom and Eric on Facebook, which I thought was great. I went back and I haven't looked at it in the last 24 hours, but after the video was done and of the Q&A that you guys did with the public, there's a lot of comments below it, and that the city is not responding to the comments because you guys addressed them in the video. But my concern is if somebody doesn't watch the video and just reads the negative comments or questions that aren't being answered, that could lead to some misleading or incorrect information. So if somebody could go back through those comments and questions below your video and respond to those, I think that would be helpful for the community to see. And that's it for me.
I will work with Eric on that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Member Wolfersberger.
I don't have anything to update this week. Thank you.
Thank you, Manager Tarkowitz.
Actually, I have one, seeing that Mr. Pardo is one of the attendees. Jim has been a great supporter of the city for my whole career, my 28 years here. And I think Jim wouldn't mind me letting people know that he's going to be moving from the community here in a short period of time. And Jim was one of the fathers of the MEDA board, as well as been on the LDFA board forever in 3 days. And so I just wanted to thank Jim for all this he's given this community. That's all I have.
Thank you, and thank you, Jim. Clerk Nelson.
Nothing from me. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, at this time, we will plan on getting back together on Monday, April 12th at 7 p.m. for the public hearing on the power rate adjustment. Until then, we will call this meeting adjourned. Thank you.